All right, guys, so video 3. So now we have talked about how that lower brain seeks out possible problems to fix them for you, but actually makes things way worse. And then it realizes now you're filled with a little bit more anxiety, stress, something that is creating discomfort. And now it's going to go into let's fix the discomfort. Creates the problem, and now it's going to solve the problem. And so, but the way that it wants to solve the problem is counter to what a lot of your goals are, which is a lot of you are here because you want to lose weight, maintain weight, build healthy habits. And you have probably been tripped up by this process so many times. I know I have. And so this is one of the reasons I'm putting this learning series together, because if I can help you shortchange your time to getting to a better place, I would love to do that. So it's so funny, I have these conversations with my kids too. We were just in the car the other day and we were talking about lower brain, higher brain. My kids were realizing one of them kind of yelled at the other one because he was worried about something that might have hurt him, and it was coming out as anger. And my son actually identified, it was awesome. He goes, my lower brain was making up stories about something bad happening to my brothers, because that's kind of a soft spot for me and I always worry about that. And I ultimately yelled at him because I was scared. I felt nervous and I didn't know what else to do. And he could identify everything. I was super proud of him. And so what we talked about is that if he could identify the fact in the moment that his lower brain was making up stories about one of his brothers being missing or hurt or whatever, and realize that that is not true, right? That's just a story, it's not real, but it's his tender spot, right? We talked about that. So it's like really identifying all the pieces of this and how it can get you to that point. For him, it was barking at his brother. That felt good because he felt like in a way he was expressing what he needed to express. But to somebody else, that might not come across very polite or kind, right? Even though it was coming from this insecurity and fear of, oh my gosh, what if something happened to my brother? So in this video, we're going to talk about, okay, so now you feel your snow globe is all turned up. You're filled with anxiety and stress. Something happened, internally that made you feel that way, that questioning and probing and future tripping. And now your lower brain wants to fix it. So it's going to push you towards the thing that should relieve the discomfort, even if it's just for 10 minutes. And the interesting thing is, I've had my coaching clients doing a couple things that have been super helpful. Number 1, speaking out loud. I know a lot of you might feel uncomfortable about that, and you might be like, Heather, what if other people think da 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 da, or what if I'm in a, I'm going to tell you now, the easiest way to work on this lower brain stuff is to engage your higher prefrontal cortex, because it's your thinking brain. And your thinking brain is the part of you that has goals, wants to achieve things. And if we can bring that on board, it's going to help shortchange the time frame of you getting this under control for yourself. So speaking out loud would be, so what I think I hear you saying, lower brain, is if I eat this tray of brownies, I will not have any problems with my, I won't have any problems with my weight. All the pictures on Facebook that I see, I'll feel good about. And right away, you can hear how insane that is, right? Like, that makes no sense. But when we hear just our lower brain droning on and on and on about it, oh my gosh, you eating these brownies today, what difference really will that make for your weight? Why not just have a little something today and we'll worry about the weight tomorrow, right? All the things it's trying to do just to help you calm back down, just to feel a little bit better. And you're realizing, wait a minute, this makes no sense. Oh, I got reprimanded about my job. So you're telling me eating these 5 chocolates that I just found is going to help me secure my job. It's going to help my boss see my value. It's going to help me not get replaced by somebody else, right? That's what these 5 chocolates are going to do? No, yet this is what your lower brain is telling you. Have the 5 chocolates. We'll deal with the whole weight loss thing later. Right now you have bigger fish to fry. You have to worry about your job, right? Whatever the thing is, it's going to try to convince you to eat food to feel better. It's going to justify why you're doing that. Because what it knows is that if you consume that food, even if it's just for 10 minutes, you're going to feel better, okay? So speaking out loud to your lower voice and actually saying, just like I just did now, you know, if I eat this, this will fix the original problem, right? That's what you're saying. The answer is no, and you know that logically, but this isn't your logical part of your brain. You see the difference, right? We have to come out of the lower brain and move into the prefrontal cortex if we're going to be successful with this. So that is one tip that's super helpful. If you're somebody who has things you can get totally engrossed in, like I've really been enjoying doing puzzles lately. I find that when I start doing them, I kind of phase out and get into a flow state. If you're like that, maybe with art, writing, whatever, when the chitter chattery part of your brain kicks in, what about this? What about that? What if this happens? Da, 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 da. If you could migrate to something you can get into a flow state with fairly quickly, it can help. It doesn't change the fact it's going to happen, but it can help quiet it down quicker to let you get some space from it. Because what you want to keep in mind is it's going to drive you to eat. So the sooner that you can quiet down the chattiness in your head, the questioning, the probing, the what ifing, the future worrying, the sooner you can do that, you're not letting the barometer of stress and anxiety rise as much, which then allows you to have better control. But a lot of us get sucked into it, man. We get pulled along for the ride, and between the questions and the futuring, and we just, like, some people get really riddled with anxiety over this. And what happens is you almost get to a crescendo where you don't even know you're in the pantry. It's like it all just kind of happens together, right? So as soon as you see your brain going in that direction, it's like identifying it. Wow, that's my lower brain. It's really upset about those Facebook pictures. It's really upset about, you know, or concerned about me getting fired from my job. And it is just questioning everything and thinking about what's going to happen in the future. I need to go shut this down. Maybe I'll go migrate to something I can focus on that's going to get me into a good flow state and just kind of break that for a little bit. But the speaking out loud, you can do anywhere. Now, in our next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about some resources, and I am going to talk a little bit about some of the issues I see for people who are seeking like an action list for this. I've helped a lot of my clients with this. And one of the first things they'll say is, yes, but what do I do? And I'm going to get into this because this is a little different from everything else you've experienced. This is one of the reasons it took me a long time to really get some of these concepts. There is very little to do. It's more of an awareness and a knowledge. By having an awareness and a knowledge of what's actually happening, how the ice cream is made, so to speak, you can better make a decision on how you're going to proceed. But there's really nothing that you can do to prevent it or to make it not happen. It is going to happen. Unless you figure out how to remove part of your brain tissue successfully, it's going to happen. And so really it's just about understanding how this whole process plays out so you can navigate better and easier. All right, guys, we're going to wrap for today, but please keep watching the rest of the series so I can hopefully answer more of your questions and you can be better prepared for the next time your lower brain is disrupted and you can know what you're going to do to kind of help yourself move out of it. All right, you have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you soon.